up in the early 80s, my family had an Atari 2600 video game system, which was the coolest. It was amazing. I could not believe I was playing video games in my living room on my TV. No quarters necessary. It was amazing. And I had next to me Tortino's pizza rolls. It was a little slice of heaven on earth. Life didn't get better than that. And so the Atari 2600 had wood paneling. It was like a station wagon, and you had the joystick, the one big red button, very, very simple to play. Anybody could play it, and my whole family did. And we played Pac-Man and Donkey Kong and Space Invaders. It was so much fun. Then a couple years later, the Nintendo Entertainment System was released to humanity, and I was like, oh man, I gotta get me a Nintendo. And so I told my mom, let's go to the pawn shop, let's sell the Atari, whatever we gotta do, I need me a Nintendo. And so eventually I got one, and it was a game changer, pun intended there. And it was so amazing, great graphics, great games. Now these two game systems, completely unrelated and completely incompatible. They do not go together. You can't take an Atari 2600 game and pop it into Nintendo and expect to play Frogger. It's not gonna happen. You can't take a Nintendo cartridge and go, you always had a blow in it, and then pop it into an Atari 2600 and expect to be playing Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. It's not gonna work. And so they're incompatible, totally separate. Now, what does this have to do with anything? Well, if you go to Galatians chapter 5, you find this conversation the Apostle Paul has about two different operating systems that are incompatible. And he says you either your life is set on the things of the Spirit, or your life and your mind are set on the things of the flesh. You can't have both. And so one or the other is the thing that's governing and fueling and controlling your life. Two different separate operating systems that we have to choose. And he even says that they're at odds. If you have your mind set on the flesh, it's at odds with the Spirit. Now, what does this have to do with the 23andMe theme that we've been in? Well, I'm glad you asked. Right before he starts talking about these two operating systems, he mentions what we're called to do, what we're meant to do is humbly serve each other in love. And so that's what our life's about, loving and caring for other people. The love of Christ being shared to the people around us. And so humbly, with humility, serve other people with love. He even brings up the first command, love others as you love yourself. This is a big deal, is what we're called to do. Now, you are not going to do that if your mind and your heart are set on the things of the flesh. That operating system is not going to fuel and drive you to do what he just said. What's going to fuel and drive you to do that, so humbly serve others in love, to love others as you love yourself, is walking and living by the Spirit. It is a deeper motivation than just a decision to be nice every once in a while. Now, life set on the flesh is a life turned inward. It's all about me. And really, the whole world, our culture, our world feeds that mentality. It promotes it. It programs it, and it fans the flame of that in us. It's almost like this world is a narcissist-making factory, and it creates narcissism in all of us, which narcissism is just completely being consumed by ourselves. And so our whole life is about me and all our thoughts and concerns and activities and everything, that all our efforts are towards self, as opposed to be turning outward and concerning other people, loving and serving and lifting others. And so the thing that's going to cause us to do that, to live that way, is choosing to live by the Spirit and not by the flesh. And so I hope you have a great time talking about this, the importance of this. Talk about your favorite video game systems and your favorite video games. That's a very important thing to talk about. But also, talk about the struggles and the difficulties of not living by the flesh, the pitfalls. Pitfall, that's a good Atari game. Talk about that, the difficulty, the struggle that we have not living for self and making this all about ourselves, but living by the Spirit, being led by the Spirit to be concerned with and love and encourage other people. I hope you have a great time in your group. I love you. I'll see you soon. Bye.